Jai Bharti, Namaskar. Today we will try to discuss about the cosmic quadratic equation and try to relate it with the three Gunas. It's part of the same Bhagavad Gita where we are trying to discuss about the cosmic womb. Then the cosmic biology we have already discussed. So now whenever you open a mathematics textbook, you find an equation which makes you afraid. So when the teacher he writes on the blackboard, let's say example 3x square minus 7xy plus 5y square plus 4xz minus 6yz plus 9z square minus 12x plus 8y minus 15z plus 21 is equal to 0. So the first reaction it looks is chaotic because there are squares, there are product, there are positive terms, there are negative terms, there are so many variables. But surprisingly, each one of these terms is ultimately working towards a single condition, that is balance. The equation is not searching for chaos, but it searches for a equilibrium, a balance. So Bhagavad Gita actually it invites us to look at the universe in remarkably the same way. It may look very chaotic, but there is a balance. So let's visualize. Before the creation, before the stars, before the galaxies, before the atoms, before the space, time, Bhagavad Gita describes the unmanifested reality which is called Prakriti. And Bhagavan Krishna in chapter number 14, shlokas 3 and 4, he says, Mam yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadadhyam Sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. In the fourth sloka, he says, Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavantiya tasam brahma mahadyonir aham bija pradapita. Means he says that my Mahad Brahma is the cosmic womb. Into it I place the seed of consciousness. O Bharata, means O Arjuna, and from that union all beings arise. So whatever forms are born in every womb, O Kaunteya, Mahad Brahma is their universal mother and I am their universal father. So what is Prakriti? Vedanta teaches that Prakriti is not empty, nor it is unconscious matter in that ordinary sense. Actually, it possesses three eternal tendencies. They are all gunas or qualities. They are called sattva, they are called rajas and tamas. Sattva you can translate in English as intelligence, rajas you can translate it as action or motion, and tamas you can translate it as inertia. Rajas is positive, and tamas you can say negative, because inertia is opposite to the motion, and sattva is the intelligence. So in shloka 5, chapter number 14, Bhagavan says, The shloka is like this: Sattvam rajastama iti guna prakriti sambhava nibadhanti mahabaho dehe dehin avyayam. Means he says these three gunas, means sattva, rajas and tamas, are born out of prakriti and they bind the external self to the body. Now, there is a very interesting tendencies among this. Sattva, it actually seeks intelligence, knowledge, clarity, peace, compassion, joy. Where rajas, it seeks movement, achievement, desire, activity, expansion, and tamas, it seeks inertia, rest, concealment, stability, sleep. Notice, none of these are enemies. All these qualities are required by us. Without sleep, we cannot do anything. Without motion, without action, nothing can be done. Without intelligence, knowledge, again, it's required. So, see, without tamas, earth will not be stable. For the earth to be stable, you require tamas. Without rajas, nothing would move. And without sattva, everything will be unknown. So, none of these qualities are enemies. They are all required by us. The proportion may differ. That we'll discuss. So the question comes, the great balance. So when the question is about the great balance, then we have to return to the same mathematics classroom and take out that algebra, that this particular equation, quadratic equation. Although this may contain many terms, the equation remains valid only when everything balances. So, similarly, Vedanta teaches that before creation, these three gunas exist in perfect stability or perfect equilibrium. Now imagine, there are three equal strong forces pulling in three different directions, in equal directions. Then what will happen? There will be no movement. Nothing has disappeared, nothing has been destroyed. Everything is in perfectly balanced mode. This is called the unmanifested Prakriti, where everything is balanced. Now, what happens when this balance breaks? You tickle with either sattva or rajas or tamas, you try to change this particular equation. Then the equality is disturbed. A new solution is required. So, when the equilibrium among sattva, rajas and tamas is disturbed, creation begins. Mind appears. Intellect comes into picture. The subtle elements arise. Then the gross elements arise. Space arises, air arises, then fire arises, then water arises, and then the earth also arises. The entire universe unfolds from the changing balance of these three tendencies. Now, what is these three gunas? Can you see it? No. These are all invisible forces. No one can see sattva. Can you see sattva? No one can see intelligence. Can anyone see rajas or tamas? Can inertia be seen? No. But we can only see their expressions. Just we cannot see the gravity, but we can see the resultant of the gravity. Maybe Newton, like, he saw the apple falling down. Can we see electricity? No. But we know that yes, when the bulb is glowing, means there is an electricity. Means there is this indication that the bulb is burning, that means there is electricity. But we cannot see electricity. The manifestation of electricity is being seen. That is, so there is an indirect understanding. So, can you see the spring season? No. But you can see the flowers blooming. Then you know, okay. So these qualities or gunas, they remain invisible, but their effects are being manifested, or it fills the entire universe. So now let's discuss the human equation. Our own mind is also governed by this cosmic equation. When tamas is dominant force, we feel lazy, we are confused, we are not inspired. When rajas dominates, what happens? We become ambitious, competitive, we are restless, always we are planning more achievement, more glory. And when sattva is the dominant force, then the mind becomes peaceful, satisfied, content, meditative. There is a clarity. So the personality of a person also changes because of the internal, when the internal balance changes. So Bhagavad Gita says something very astonishing. He says the changing equation is not you. The body belongs to Prakriti, the mind belongs to Prakriti, the thoughts belong to Prakriti, even the knowledge belongs to Prakriti. May the self merely is the witness. So in chapter number 3, sloka 28, Bhagavan says, Tat vitu mahabaho gun karma vibhagayo guna guneshu vartante iti matva na sajate. So he says that the knower of truth understands the division of gunas and their actions, knowing that the gunas alone interact with the gunas only. So the entire fighting between two gunas, or the clash of two gunas, the creation is happening. Therefore, the witness, he doesn't get attached. See, you may solve the equation, but you are not a part of that equation. You see the values of x, y, z being changed, but you solve the equation. You're just a witness, and you see the whatever changes are coming. So this is one of the most, it actually liberates. It's the liberating verse in Bhagavad Gita. So when anger appears, rajas is active. When you are lazy, then tamas is active. When you have compassion, you have love, then sattva is active. So the wise person does not say, I am angry. He understands that there are gunas interacting with the Prakriti. Within this Prakriti, the gunas are interacting. Prakriti actually constitutes this three gunas. So now we need to rise above the gunas, or above this equation. So spirituality, actually the life begins with reducing tamas, then rajas is purified through selfless action, and finally sattva becomes dominant through meditation. See, tamas can be disturbed or can be overcome through rajas. Someone is sleeping, you can wake him, make him study, make him do some work. So his rajas, tamas, is being overtaken by the rajas. Means inertia, when there is a movement, inertia disappears. Now this movement is made fruitful by adding intelligence into it. Where to act, in what direction, it gives the, so rajas is purified through sattva. And how is sattva purified? Through meditation, through knowledge, through devotion, through purity. So actually one has to transcend all the three gunas, tamas, rajas and sattva. That is becoming nirguna, because all these three, they belong to Prakriti. So Bhagavan says in chapter number 14, so sloka 26 in chapter number 14, Bhagavan says, Mam cha yo abhivyacharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samitva tena brahma bhuvaya kalpate. So he says, he who serves me through the unwavering devotion transcends these three gunas and becomes fit to realize Brahman. So this, when you balance these three gunas, then only you can transcend it. See, one small example can be taken. We have all seen the pole vault. So you just you try to understand that the pole has all the three, means sattva, rajas and tamas. Because when you jump, you require rajas, but how to jump and at what level, you require sattva, that is intelligence, and the stability part, because that pole vault has to stick on the ground. It requires that stability also. That inertia is also required. Same pole vault requires all the three, the intelligence part, the motion part and the inertia part or the stability part. That will help you to overcome the rod. But mind, you have to leave the rod this side only, otherwise it will be foul. So all the three gunas has to be left this side only. That side, none of these qualities will go. Like the pole vault remains this side, the athlete is on that side. So you can understand this as he is going towards the Brahma, as what Bhagavan says. It's a very simple example. The pole vault is three qualities, three gunas, and it is helping you to achieve the goal. But then you have to leave the pole vault on this side only. You cannot take it. You just cannot take it. So the universe may appear very complicated, Just as a very long equation appears very fearful, but all these complexities lies in a simple harmony, that our experiences of life, our thoughts, our emotions, our success, our failures are expressions of those three tendencies, those three qualities, those three gunas, sattva, rajas and tamas. So Bhagavad Gita not only asks us to merely improve the equation, it also asks to understand the one who is never inside the equation. He is not part of the equation. He understands the equation, he might solve the equation, but he is not a part of the equation. So the variable changes, the balance changes, the inverse appears and disappears, but the witnessing self remains unchanged. It's Sakshi, it's just a witness. This is the ultimate teaching of Vedanta, and being Nirguna is also, you call it as Gunatit, means you have come out of all the three tendencies, leaving the pole vault over this side only. So one who has gone beyond the play of the three gunas, he achieves Brahman. Hope the analogy with mathematics would help us to understand this subject. Bhagwan has already made it so easy. So thank you. Namaskar. Jai Bharati.